For many Nigerian women, sharing a picture online comes with fear. Fear that they would either be called names or sexualized. What was once trolling has now become technology enabled abuse, and the danger is growing. The fear has evolved because artificial intelligence could undress them, distort their image, and turn their lives into a nightmare. This is the new face of online sexual harassment.
I felt terrible. I felt like I had been invaded. I don't know. I can't find the right term for it. But I was disgusted.
So now I can't even post a regular picture of me like fully dressed.
If there's a room with 20 people, a combination of men and women, and you ask them what are online arms, there's a very big probability that if there's anybody who's going to mention email-based sexual abuse, it's most likely going to be a woman.
Today, AI tools like Grok and others are celebrated for innovation and creativity. But the same technology raises possibilities that creates dangers. In July 2025, two TechCabal journalists published an article exploring how artificial intelligence could become the next frontier for online sexual harassment.
I found the story very interesting and disturbing at the same time because who would have thought machines are now being used to sexually harass women? I mean, harassment has always been there, but making use of AI to do it makes the story nuanced. So I really was interested in the story, and as soon as I saw the opportunity, I jumped on it.
I really agree. We definitely hear stuff related to how AI is going to, change the state of things in Africa and be used for good. But we saw this news recently about, it being used in such a harmful way. And we felt it was really important to write a story and, highlight this developing issue.
How does AI-driven sexual harassment affect women in real life?
I made a post about how making your hair changes your appearance, basically. And I made my hair and uploaded a picture. And someone messaged me on Twitter and said, "Oh, have you seen this?" When I looked at the account, I saw that he had taken my face. It was entirely like the same background, me, and then edited a nude body onto me. And when I went through his account, I saw that he has been doing that for other people.
This victim is not the only one who has come across such on social media. We spoke to other social media users who had similar experiences.
Grok has been the bane of a bunch of us existence. So I was doom scrolling on Twitter and I came across this tweet that was going viral where a bunch of men asked Grok to distort someone's photo and then put some white stuff on her face. And I thought that was disgusting, but they found it very entertaining.
And like a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, online lawa, blah blah blah," and in reality, it doesn't just end over the screen. These are people we exist with, like we're forced to exist with in real life.
For some women like Farida, the abuse isn't even tied to AI or technology, but it shows the same culture of harassment that thrives both online and offline.
Okay, so it was this time where my picture was going viral because they were saying, "Oh, she just has bum bum," or "She's not fine," blah, 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 the usual things. And I was confused because people were calling me. I was not popular on Twitter then. Next thing I saw in my comments, people turning me into a man to say, "Oh, women are just pretty because they are women. If they were men, they would not be fine," and all of that. So how did it make me feel? That was my first radio getting bullied on Twitter, so it was devastating. I felt really bad.
With AI, the risks associated with online sexual harassment are multiplying. And as Chioma points out, Nigeria's approach to this technology often overlooks these dangers, treating AI as though it is not a force that can cause real harm.
I think that Nigeria, unfortunately, is treating AI like a shiny toy, right? So if you've listened to people who work in elections, everyone's talking about we are going to put in AI. as if it's an ingredient.
From Tech Societal, we have a web tool called My Law Umbrella. We get a lot of cases about image-based sexual abuse. That's one form of online gender-based abuse that is very widespread, but not so much talked about. A lot of people don't know about it. A lot of women are coming forward to report these cases of sextortion and image-based sexual abuse. This year alone, we've had nothing less than 20 cases reported. However, even with the reports, even though a lot of women are coming forward, there's still a lot of silence around it. There's still a lot of fear, stigma. There's still a lot of shame around it.
For many women, the first challenge is not knowing that these cases can be reported. But awareness is only the first step. What truly shapes the online space is how the community responds when harassment happens in real time.
I made a general post on Twitter with his account asking people to block him. I didn't really get anyone saying it was nothing. Everyone was equally disgusted.
Real change comes when communities respond with empathy. Addressing online harassment as if it were happening to you makes the difference between silence and solidarity.
Stand by people who have experienced this. Call it out. Address it like you are the one facing it.
Being a woman informed the way I treated the story because I put myself in the shoes of the victims. What are civil societies like Tech Societal and TechCabal doing about it?
We started training especially young ladies in universities, talking to people in senior secondary school, because the demographic that is using the internet, which is the 15 to 24 demographic, what you might call Gen Zs, they are the ones who are most likely to perpetrate the violence as well. So we started talking to young women. We're also talking to young men. And we started producing tools to support women to avoid or to recognize when violence is occurring.
So there's something we always say in my organization when people ask us, oh, why do you focus on women and children? We always say that when women and children are safe, every single person is safe in this society. You know, the government needs to be on board with this. You can't just leave tech companies and, left to do whatever they want to do. They need to be held accountable.
Police don't know what to do with the cases. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we did at TechCabal was to create a compendium of laws in Nigeria that via the Interpretation Act can be used to prosecute cases of online violence. And then we took it to the police, and the police are like, okay, so now that we have this thing, what do you want us to do with it? So the next thing we've done is we've created a prosecutorial manual, and we're hoping for a bit of money to be able to bring the entire justice system together. So the arc of justice in Nigeria, to bring them together to validate and then adopt this manual so that if a case happens in Kwara, this manual can be used.
Though Nigerian laws don't touch specifically on AI-facilitated sexual harassment, there are things still being done about it in the Nigerian law. Using tools like Grok to portray a woman in sexual or compromising ways without her consent could amount to criminal defamation of character under sections 373 to 375 of the Criminal Code Act. The Cybercrimes Act of 2015 also covers acts like cyber stalking, identity theft, and image-based abuse, all of which could apply to these new scenarios using AI. Passing laws is only the beginning. Without real consequences, legislation becomes an empty promise.
Men threatening to rape women. In the former administration, you get banned on Twitter for less, but we don't have that anymore.
I would hope that it impacts future policy that involves protecting how minority groups like women and marginalized groups rather, how they are protected on online spaces. And there is a level of care needed to provide safety, especially that's tailored to the nuances of our own societies.
Accountability doesn't end with tech companies alone. Civil societies like TechCabal and Tech Societal push for safer platforms, but change also depends on who tells these stories and how they are told. The media has the power to keep the spotlight on victims and ensure their experiences are never erased.
I think first we need to be talking to each other. There's not a lot of talking that's happening. There's a need for us to share resources. We need to talk to each other.
But I think that journalists and media houses can take a step further to always consciously spotlight and highlight the advocacy that civil society are always doing.
So I believe the first and easiest thing they can start with is flagging down certain keywords. I believe that's not something, I believe that's the easiest and simplest way to reduce these things happening.
Women have made their demands clear. Stronger laws, stricter consequences, and accountability for abusers. But there's also the question of how these stories are told. Responsible reporting can protect victims while ensuring that their experiences drive the urgent changes that our societies need.
I mean, one of the things really is that importance of handling a story like this with a lot of care, and when trying to reach out to victims, different people involved in the story, really trying to think about how do you want to reach out with them in an empathetic way. And obviously there has been a growing issue of violence against women in online spaces. Just trying to make sure we were giving the story the care it needed and engaging with multiple different stakeholders like regulators, victims, other people using Twitter, especially women, and people in civil society spaces that are involved in rights of women in online spaces, making sure we have multiple perspectives that really enrich the story and form a broad population of people.
So to every woman who has faced this sort of abuse, who is facing this sort of abuse, it's not your fault really.
Artificial intelligence is not the enemy. AI has the power to create, but also the power to destroy. In the wrong hands, it could deepen the scars of online sexual harassment. What it becomes in the fight against online sexual harassment depends on the choices we make today. Women should not have to choose between silence and abuse. The time to act for tech companies, policymakers, and communities is now.